Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined right now by the prankster, the social media man who got me, he got many people out. Izi Garcia, sir, thank you very much for joining me to probably maybe prank me again. I don't know if you're going to shout fuck her in a pussy or something, I don't know, but thank you for joining me, man.
Hey, man, it's great to be here. No, I'm actually retired from the whole aerial pranking stuff, so no more of that, but who knows?
Are you going to be like Luke
I mean,
Thomas next?
in MMA, retirement really isn't, forever. So.
Is it Luke Thomas next you're going to be or someone?
Yeah. Oh, I don't want anyone to talk about Luke. So, but yeah, him and me already got into it. So
yeah, I know you got a good relationship with Luke. I know you two are tight. It's just a Twitter thing. It's just and look, what's your social media, buddy? Because obviously, it's not Ariel Helwani. So what is it so people can jump on it and give you a follow anyway, man?
Yeah, you can follow me at Izi_Garcia. My website, again, is thefightingwords.com. So I'm working on some rankings. Go check them out. Let me know what you guys think. But, yeah, feel free to follow me and just, hate all my tweets is basically what you're going to do.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, you said the rankings there. I'm curious, how do you score your rankings? What is it that, how do you put your thoughts into it?
Yeah. This is actually a big now on my Twitter, just because there's rankings that are called ELO rankings. They're used for chess and football and baseball and all this other stuff. So I got into it and I coded a program to just basically go through and give fighters ELO ratings depending on obviously their resume and stuff like that. These rankings are unbiased. They're just wins, losses, level of competition. The entire record is taken into account. And it does have issues. So the two issues that I still can't figure out how to work with are when a fighter moves up or down in a weight class. They're still going to remain with their previous rating. It doesn't matter what weight class they're in, because I don't expect a flyweight to be fighting at heavyweight. But fighters do move from lightweight to welterweight. The other issue is that some people have said that, title fights should count more. Really, when you're having Michael Bisping fight Dan Henderson for the title, versus, so it's weird. I really don't want to include that. But these ratings are completely unbiased. So I just want to take the whole bias out of it with these reporters who are ranking fighters who are on a 2-fight win streak in their top 15, and that's ridiculous. Also, it's a global view, so it's not just UFC rankings; it's everybody. So guys like Michael Chandler and the Pitbull brothers, all of these guys who don't have the recognition because it's UFC fans, as people say, instead of MMA fans. So they're actually being ranked, and they can move up and down in the rankings instead of just having UFC rankings. And World Series of Fighters and Bellator obviously don't have rankings, but that's my project. So if you want to go check it out, let me know what you think, and I can answer any questions you guys have.
That's badass, man. I'm going to have to jump on and have a look at that as well. The fact that it's got other promotions on, I like this, because like you say, there are some wicked fighters outside of the UFC that aren't in there, and they do, like say, it's just because people do have that kind of mindset of they only know the UFC, right, and they think that fighters just pluck out the air and magically appear when they make their debut, and they're like, who's this guy? And you're like, well, he had to kick a whole lot of shit and ass to get to the UFC. Why don't you go and check that out? Like, look at Will Brooks, for example. People think he just puffed out of nowhere, magical bit of smoke, and there's a fighter. It's just, it's entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is with ELO rankings, let's say a fighter does go to another organization. Like, for example, Ben Askren. He is one of the top welterweights right now. He's actually ranked on my rankings, but he is fighting lower level competition. So whatever happens is, if he comes over to the UFC and decides to fight in the world, if he loses, his ELO rating drops, obviously. However, if he stays in that other organization and if he ever loses to anybody that's that low, his ELO rating drops even more, just because he's expected to beat them, and the fact that they beat him, the way the algorithm works, it penalizes him very drastically. So they're playing a very dangerous game by going to these other organizations and competing against some guy that can get a lucky KO, flash KO, a submission. Yeah. You never know.
No,
so,
I love it. I love it.
It's a good manner. Yep. It's a good thing. So we'll see where it goes.
Man, that sounds bad. Honestly, it sounds wicked cool, man. I'll have to check that out. Okay, so look, the UFC had what I even said it last week. It's probably one of the weaker cards of the year. If you break the year down into 12 cards as they do, and it's probably the lower quarter of quality you'd expect from a numbered event. But albeit, I was amped because I got to go to it because it was in the UK rather than I didn't have to sell a kidney to go to Vegas to go and watch it, which I've got friends that have done that, and it's all nice and all, but not into paying that much to go over there and watch a fight card. I can just sit on the sofa. But either way, it was in the UK. It happened. There was, for a fight card, 9 finishes and only 2 decisions. That's pretty good going, in my opinion. I was pleasantly surprised. You watched it from stateside. Look, the big talking point. I want to talk about Bisping, Dan Henderson. Now, scoring is up, man, that is up for debate. That scoring, was it a 10-8 first round? Because suddenly that changed the whole score. That changed the whole ballpark. How was the judging done? What maybe this is when people start thinking, should judging need to be changed? The criteria, we know it needs to be changed. I had a friend who's coming. Actually, I've got a lad who's coming to UFC Belfast with me. I'm popping his UFC cherry, so to speak. I'll be gentle. I'll lube him up. But it's going to be, he said, about the judging. And I was like, dude, I said, it is a rabbit hole of a conversation, the judging criteria. It's so hard to get an ideal scoring system. It's almost like you shouldn't have a scoring system. You should have judges who know what the hell they're talking about and just watch the fight and go, you didn't win that fight, he won that fight. It's almost to that extent. It's hard, man. But look, Hendo didn't get the win. Like I said, I wanted him to kind of win, go out on a shield, go out with his shield, with the belt, being and retiring and going off in the sunset with his ridiculously attractive misses and just having a good time. You for stateside, how did you look at it? How did you watch that main event? Was there any emotional investment within Henderson?
Honestly, well, here, I'm going to tell you, before the fight even started, I was one of the few who had Bisping by decision. Now, let me talk a little bit of some of the points that you touched on, because I think you made some really valid points. When you bring a new person on to, talk about MMA and how the fights are scored and stuff like that.
Hey, bro, can you hear me?
For us.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, mate. You just cut off there. He said, let me tell you I think, and then it just froze.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me just backtrack a little bit then. So basically what I was saying was, when you bring a new person to watch MMA or any fight, just telling them how the scoring system works is very basic. But even to us hardcore fans, it varies so much from fight to fight. With this fight specifically, this is a really weird fight to score and not a good fight to start your judging career because the first round, for the entire first half of the round, it was all Bisping. He's controlling and basically cruising through and avoiding the right hand. And then all of a sudden the H-bomb connects, and it would look like the fight was about to be over. So you definitely give that round to Dan Henderson, but is it a 10-8? Because, 10-8's, sure, it's a close finish and all of that, but he wasn't dominating the entire round. So 10-9, I can see that. Second round, again, Bisping comes out. He's already bruised up. His eyes swollen. Again, starts controlling the entire round. He's controlling most of the round until the H-bomb connects. Now, in this one, it wasn't as bad as the first. I might have the round switched up, but I remember that in one of the rounds, when Bisping goes to the ground, he recovers guard, and he's fine at the end of the round. He's not, about to get finished. He's fine. So, again, if you want to give Bisping, I think it was the second round that he was completely fine. If you want to give Bisping the second round, because he won the entire round, it was pretty clearly his round until he got dropped. That's fine. Again, I don't disagree with people who want to give it to Dan Henderson. That's fine. So 2 rounds, Dan Henderson. The rest of the fight, you have to make up your mind. What do you want to take into account? You want to take into account damage or volume? Michael Bisping was landing kicks. He was avoiding later in the fight. He was avoiding takedowns. You know, he got taken down once in the 5th round. But for the most of the fight, Michael Bisping is just jabbing Dan Henderson, kicking him in the head. I mean, just because there's no marks on Dan Henderson, those were hurting him. Dan Henderson at one point, was curling up against the fence. It looked like Michael Bisping was, going to swarm him and finish the fight. But I think people were really impressed with Dan Henderson's ability to not gas and go out there and in the 5th round come out strong. But that's, you have to just look at the fight with as unbiased as possible. So you want to give the first 2 rounds to Henderson, completely okay with that. 5th round, very close, but again, nothing crazy happened in the round. A takedown, Michael got up, so it was a very close fight. I had it, for Bisping. 6 is what I would have scored it if I had given it to Bisping, for the 2nd round. But I can totally see a 48-47 Dan Henderson. Either way, if you want to throw in, now we're getting even deeper. So if you want to throw in a 10-8 in there for Dan Henderson, that would still make it a draw. It would make it 47-47, and Michael Bisping would remain the champion. So either way, Dan Henderson isn't walking away with the belt. But there's always going to be arguments. So this is a very close fight. It was a great card. It was a super underrated card. Finishes were, the Jimmy Manuel KO, the stoppage of OSP. I didn't expect that, honestly. That was super shocking. And then, on the undercard, Mike Perry just looked amazing. I know a lot of people hate him right now. I can't really blame him. But his fighting style is what sells. And whenever you have that guy on, he's going to move forward. And he looked like a complete warrior. So that was a great fight.
Yeah, that was crazy because, he just rocked Danny Roberts in that 1st round. And you could see Danny Roberts was just shaking up from it. Nearly got finished, really, that 1st round. 2nd round, Mike Perry's had that confidence. I was curious, though, because I was like, he's never went to a 2nd round or 3rd round, Perry. I was like, how's he going to handle it? I thought maybe he'll start flagging and gassing. You saw Danny Roberts start to pick up that momentum. He started to build that momentum up in the 2nd and 3rd. And then, man, that one knee, that one moment in the 3rd round, it just, the fight was over, man. And you got a few shots in extra that you didn't need to get, thanks to Mark Goddard being a little bit slow. Mark Goddard, a lot of flack, Mark Goddard. Wow. I was like, do you know what? He does get praise every now and then when he does right, but dang, when he does something wrong, the world comes after him. Holy crap. I was watching it, and to be fair, the whole place kind of went silent when you saw Perry go down, and you're like, Danny Roberts go down, you were like, right, okay, it's out. And then you saw one shot land. 2 shots, and you went, yeah, this is kind of went from an entertaining fight to this is a little bit disturbing. And it took Danny Roberts a long last time to get up off the ground. You were like, yeah, I ain't feeling too hot right now about this. But yeah, man, it happened. But yeah, but the Alcantara finish on Brad Pickett, that was a class submission. Man, that transition from armbar try. Oh, man, that was beautiful. Jiu-jitsu. I think it was 6 submissions in a row off the top of my head on the card.
I love jiu-jitsu. I practice as much as I can, and I go and I train. But when I was watching that, honestly, and I don't know if people will admit to this. I don't care, but I will. When I was watching that, I was like, what is Alcantara doing? He's giving up his back, and it was weird, but then when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is next level. That was beautiful. Yeah. It was a quick finish, so we didn't really get to see much. Again, Pickett was rocked, but either way, his scramble was beautiful.
Oh yeah, that was probably the highlight for me on that card with that grapple. That it was only a small bit, but I was saying to people, you'd have no idea how good that was, that little chain that he did. Because I'm saying, bro, I do, or compete anyway, then maybe, but jiu-jitsu wise, that was so slick. Because it's not like he's rolling with the guys in the gym. He's having a legit fight in MMA, and it's on, it's high pressure, bang, get it on, and he nailed it. And Stasiak armbar of Davy Grant, that looked gnarly, man. Oh, that looked, that went through me a little bit, that one.
That was a great fight for me because that was the only bet of the night, and I was so sad. I'm like, man, my only bet's going to lose. And 3rd round, I literally tweeted out, I'm like, man, it doesn't look that this is going to go well unless he gets a crazy submission. And out of nowhere, he gets this crazy armbar, and it just looked like his arm was going to snap, but they stopped it just in time. And then, talking about comebacks, Leon Edwards, whenever he was basically, getting manhandled by Tumenov there in the third round, that was a huge upset also. That's big for Edwards' career. Tumenov was a guy with a lot of hype, and, to put the finish on it like that was super impressive.
I said that as well. I said Tumenov, kudos. He lost to Gunnar Nelson via submission. Pretty much anyone but Damian Maia is going to be in that situation with Gunnar Nelson, let's be honest. Yeah. And I thought, okay, first round I probably was giving the momentum to Edwards, and then Tumenov just found his range, found his flow, and like you say, man, he was starting to just go. He was starting to go up and up and up, and then Edwards got this little single leg, which I was not overly impressed about, but Tumenov let it go down, and then the back take as well. I was like, he's got his back, but I tell you what, he only had one hook in. Tumenov should have turned sooner. He so should have turned sooner. He got half guard or even guarded in that position. And I was thinking, do you know what, Tumenov? You were not on point there, son. You were not on the ball thinking, I could get out of here. You just were coasting, thought you were through. And I was like, do you know what? You deserve to lose when you think like that, because you could have got out of that before that got on, that choke. Because there was a point there, and I was watching it, and I was like, dude, that's only one hook in. And it was the way the positions were on the body. I was like, you're just over the sides. You could have just turned your hips, put that weight on that leg, get your hips turned, and you would have been out. You would have been coasting it. You would have been on guard probably, landing a couple of shots, maybe run the clock down, or the referee would have stood up. But, man, big win for Edwards. I was a bit shocked by the Brits, trying a bit of wrestling. Jimmy Manoa trying to take that OSP. That was a bit of comedy. I did enjoy that. I was like, Jimmy, son, don't do that. It just looks bad. It just looks bad, man. I think
Jimmy actually in his post-fight interview said something about I wanted to prove that we could wrestle, and somebody made the perfect tweet. He was like, yeah, he wanted to prove it and failed miserably, but.
Yeah, he proved that badly. Jimmy, don't just stick what you're good at, bro. Fair enough. You probably probably made OSP think a bit more about a takedown. Maybe thought, holy shit, that he's really bad at takedowns. But man, I was like, wow, he needs to stop doing that. But all in all, do you know what? Like you say, man, it was a surprisingly good card. I think that a lot of people would be, Mirsad got win, which. Against Russell Doan, who, I gave a lot of kudos to Russell Doan with the big ball, stepping up 1 week's notice, going up a weight class.
Yeah.
I know Mirsad had been injured, but Mirsad is a bad motherfucker. And I said at the end of the 2017, injury-free, Mirsad is going to be in that top 5 contention, going to be the dude that's making waves, and he's legit. Yeah.
I mean, another thing that I want to talk about, because this actually ties in with my rankings that I was talking about earlier. Vitor Belfort, he went in there, and this is obviously everybody is focusing on Vitor Belfort, post USADA and all of that, and his TRT use and all that. But the thing is, with the rankings, Vitor Belfort, when he was on a run, he was super high. He's super ranked, up there, top 5, in the world. Now, people are like, why is he still ranked? I think I have him ranked top 10 or something like that, or top 13, one of those two. People are like, why is he even top 15 still? Well, the thing is, with these rankings, if you are a fighter going up in competition, fighting elite guys, look at who Vitor has lost to. He's lost to Chris Weidman, who is it, Souza, and Musasi. Yeah. Those are the elite guys of that division. There is no shame in losing to those guys. And what I like about Elo is that it takes into account, the fact that he is moving up in competition. He's expected to lose these fights. So when he loses, his elo drops very little. So whenever, it's no shame for a fighter, like I told you, for Ben Askren to keep fighting these guys' elo ratings are not dropping that drastically. However, if they win, it boosts them a lot. So, for Vitor Belfort, he's going to start fighting. If he wants to win, honestly, he needs to start fighting, lower level guys. I'm not saying, go out of the top 15, but start fighting people that you can beat, because he's getting demolished, and he can't keep taking beatings like this. I mean, it's just basically, in order to beat Vitor, survive the first round, take him down, mount him, and ground and pound. That's pretty much what they're all doing. So,
yeah,
he has to realize that his career is on the decline.
Oh, yeah. What's worrying is how easy he gives up mount. That's what freaks me out. I'm like, dude, I would take that black belt off you and beat the shit out of you. How on earth can you wear that black belt with pride when you let people slide through you? Oh my word, that's disturbing, son. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think, you know, if he fought like Tamden McCory, if he lost to him, then he would drop down, you know, quite a bit.
He would probably be. I mean, Tamden, he was ranked, but you know, with his recent loss, he's out. So if he lost to him, that would be a huge. I mean, that would basically tell you where Vitor is on the scale. You know, it's not that he has a terrible chin. It's just that he can't keep competing with these younger guys, you know, and Vitor's not that old, but it's just he's been in it for – I think he was 18 when he was in the UFC or something something crazy like that. So
it was about 20 years, man, 20 years in the game. It takes a toll on the body, you know, and the other thing is I think I personally wouldn't like to see him keep going. I'm like, dude, you've done your thing. You know, you've had a great time. You are a legend. You know, he is a fucking legit legend. Like, when I met him, I was like proper fanboy. I was like, give me a little kid at Christmas, man. I was like, hey, it's Vitor. Yeah. I don't care what the hell you did. Vitor TRT is one awesome fighter to watch. He was surreal. Like, wheel kicking the shit out of everyone. It was awesome to watch. But, you know, I don't care. I'm like, dude, retire. Stop taking these beatings. There's no need to. It's not like you're going to tell me you've got no money, dude. You made some killer money back in the day, especially when before the Reebok deals, you were getting paid in Brazil, paid by those sponsors, big time. He was like he was one of the big faces in MMA. I'd love to see Vitor just hang them up, coach, train, whatever. Just I will say grappling comps, but as I've always been doing lately, no, hell no. But you know, if he does fight again, you know, only the next fight I would want to see him do is maybe Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt would be one I'd like to see. Two dudes are like, you know, they're not at the peak. They've had some absolute hellacious knock finishes done to them in the past couple of years. So they're not really top level. They're just, and plus they've been in the game for so long, and they never. I don't think they've ever crossed paths off the top of my head, but maybe those two boys, the Cheetah. You know, the kind of guys like that. Or if Shogun ever wants to get his ass down to 185, which he should have done years ago, I wouldn't mind seeing Shogun fight Vitor, but that's about it. I mean, I don't see much jazz for him. I don't see the point. Like, dude, I
mean, look at these guys. I have my ratings here up. The you know, in the top 30, look what we have. We have Brad Tavares, we have Chris Camozzi, Sam Alvey, Elias, Rafael Natal. I mean, come on, Robert Whitaker, Tim Kennedy. Lyoto Machida is literally the only guy, but he's suspended, that's like up there that could probably be a good fight for him. You know, everybody else is just Hector Lombard. You don't want to fight Hector Lombard, man. You don't want to fight Hector Lombard. So, I mean, Anderson Silva rematch, possibly, but again, that's just, we've seen it, we've been there. You know, I don't know what else he could do. So it's just.
Hey, man, I want Gegard Mousasi and Anderson Silva. Do that. Stick that in Holland. Give me that fight. Sign me up. Love that fight.
Yeah, Gegard has been super under. And the weird thing is that I don't understand why people keep saying that, you know, oh, he's finally made it to the top. You know, he's fine. Gegard has been up to, like, literally he's ranked 5th in my rankings. And that's only because, you know, Mike got that crazy upset over Luke Rockhold. But Gegard has been up there for a while. I don't get this whole, he's finally up there. He's been in the league for a long time. I mean, his record is crazy.
Yeah. Heavyweight champ, and like people, it's not like he was a no one. He came into, again, it's people who don't understand UFC. It's like, dude, it's not like he just came into UFC off the streets. Dude was killing it outside the UFC, and now he's came into the UFC. The only thing with Gegard was when he was in the UFC at the start, he just didn't have that consistency. He just kept going at hot and cold, and you were like, what's going on? Like, why coming? We know what he's got and what potential he can do. Like, even afterwards at the post-fight, he's like, man, everyone, you know, to the media, you know it was a fluke. I know it was a fluke. Your eye hole win. It was a fluke. And I was like, dude, I like the personality coming out in him. And I like the fact that he realizes if he talks more, he'll probably get more. And that's it. And I'm like, as much as we want to be, like, respectful professionals, if you want to get paid, you've got to open your mouth. Like Jose Aldo, like that cat. He doesn't talk when it's fight time, but when he's not going to fight, there's a lot of talking, and he might be getting released from his UFC contract, and possibly that's something that might happen. I'll be a bit sad. I'll be a bit sad if that happens myself. I'm like, dude, I love watching Jose Aldo. Man, that combination with like the 1-2 leg kick is just the shit. And Dutchy, they call it Dutchy. But you know, if he goes, if I'm Risen or if Bellator even, I am going to snap him up and happy days because you've got a dude who's going to just fly into your top rankings, fight the top dudes, and he's going to put on awesome fights.
Yeah, you can probably hear my dog. He's being a little asshole
Sure.
now. But no, the only thing with Jose Aldo, is I love the guy. I respect everything he's done. Obviously, I'm a huge Conor fan, so I picked Conor to beat him, and that was proven in 13 seconds. But Jose Aldo, he's just like you said. He's not marketable. Like he doesn't. He says that I do my talking in the cage, and that's completely fine. I understand that, but in this day and age when Conor McGregor is making $5 million, well, if you want to be realistic, he's making $15 million a fight, over $15 million a fight. And you're still complaining and all of that. And why? Because, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's selling a fight. So I know that everybody makes the argument that the promotion is supposed to be selling the fight. But, if you're a salesman and you're trying to sell paper, trust me, selling a printer is a lot easier than selling paper. So that's an office reference, by the way. But it's just Jose Aldo. If he goes to another organization, I expect him to dominate and get paid. But in his career, the only thing it's going to do is hurt him. It's not going to help him. It's not going. It's just like Fedor. It's the Fedor argument. Yeah. Jose Aldo is a lot more proven, and obviously his track record speaks for itself. But if that's the route he wants to go, and the fact that he's talking about willing to throw a fight, just those words coming out of a fighter's mouth, that does not sit well. That does not sit well with his legacy. So
no, I don't like that. When he said that, I was like, man, you're just saying anything to get out, and that's what it is. I feel like you're just saying anything to get yourself out of contract. The new owners as well, the UFC, they'll be like, look, we don't want this. This is not good for us. Just go. See you later, son. We don't care. Well, to be fair, the UFC don't necessarily need Aldo, because let's put it this way, anyone Conor fights, doesn't matter what face you put with Conor, it's going to sell because Conor's going to sell it, like you say. I think one thing that got me with Aldo over the years, I thought, dude, when he was in WWEC and killing it, I was like, man, you need to start learning English then and have a good, like Lyoto Machida over the years, you've seen him slowly just getting that English. And do you know what? It transitions well in the States big time. If you can speak English, it helps with marketability. Huge thing. And I'm like, man, Alexander Shelemenko. Yeah. That dude wasn't that fluid with his English, and he didn't transfer well, even though he was murdering in the middleweight division. Just because he couldn't speak that English, it made a big difference. They couldn't market him in the way they wanted to. And Aldo, all he had to do was take some lessons. It wasn't like he couldn't afford to do some English lessons. And I thought, man, that would have made a big difference for him in the long run. And Conor, like you say, man, he's just a savage. That's UFC 205 is, well, that's kind of exploding your pants, kind of exciting fight card, isn't it, man?
Yeah, that's a card that I couldn't have even dreamt of that card. The main card is just, I thought 200 was impressive with the names, but honestly, sometimes names don't live up to the hype. But I just don't see any of these fights really not living up to the hype. You have Conor McGregor in the main event. If you're going to put a female fight on the main card, which we can debate about that on some other time. But if you're going to do that, Miesha Tate, and she is going to go out there and fight. She is nasty. Yeah. So that's a great fight. There's nothing wrong, with this entire. I don't see any. It's perfect. It is the perfect MSG card. So it's going to be exciting.
Come on, just any card Joanna's on, I'm in. I'm sold. When I watched that girl at Cage Warriors against Rosie Sexton, oh man, I was like, that girl is a savage and an absolute monster. I was like, that woman should just be ill because that girl hits to kill. She is awesome to watch, and she will sell. She sells. That girl sells tickets. She is up there. She is slowly transitioning herself. She can speak English as well, again, which makes a big difference. That Polish contingent in New York will be absolutely insane anyway. But do you know what I feel really bad for is Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I love Wonderboy Thompson, right? That dude is such a gent, right? That guy, I've had an interview with him before. Such a nice guy, right? He is literally Oh, he's just awesome. He'll literally give you his left arm if he had to, kind of thing. But Tyron Woodley, he's not got the biggest personality, let's say. And Steve Wonderboy Thompson, he's super nice. I think that fight's going to get looked over, but that's probably going to be that fight's going to get looked over, basically, in my eyes. I can't see a lot of people talking about it as much as some of the other fights.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope usually when that happens and fights are overlooked, those fights deliver. So I hope that happens. I hope this fight, either one or two things is going to happen. Tyron Woodley is going to cement his name and either finish Wonderboy, or who knows. I really don't see this fight going the distance. So I really think that it'll be inside the distance. So either Woodley finishes him, or Stephen Thompson just shines, and we have a completely new star. I mean, the welterweight division right now is all of these divisions, these upsets. Nobody can hold the belt. It makes everything so much interesting. But yeah, it's going to be, and then basically, Chris Weidman and Yoel Romero, they're basically competing, to see who's going to be the next title challenger, depending on who wins between Luke Rockhold and Jacare. So it's definitely interesting. It is an amazing card. Look, I just glanced at the undercard. We have Frankie Edgar on the undercard. When's the last time Frankie Edgar was on the undercard? I can't even remember that.
Oh man.
But it's a great card, yeah. I mean, a huge one on the undercard to keep an eye on is Khabib versus Johnson. Michael Johnson looked phenomenal. And Khabib, he's a monster. But, like everybody makes a good point, he hasn't really beat top guys. I mean, he beat the current champ, and that's I don't know if that's the only name that I can really point to, like a casual fan that they'll be like, oh, I think I heard of that guy. But it's definitely a great matchup. If Johnson can pull off another big upset like he did against Poirier.
Big, man. Oh, that was insane, man. That blew me away. I thought maybe Johnson got in his head the whole Nate thing, and man, he has got some self-confidence. He turned that shit around. He was awesome in that fight, man. And look, that fight by itself is awesome. Is that my ex-girlfriend talking?
Dude, I swear to God, he won't shut up. God, he's annoying. He literally, I can't do anything. He just wants to participate all the time.
He wants to get on the podcast. How about you? Just give him a headset.
Every time I try and take a picture, he always wants to come over, so I always have to post him on Twitter and stuff like that. But
hey, look, man, Conor McGregor, like we say, he's going to make some money at New York because bloody Las Vegas cost him $150,000 for a bottle and can incident. Let's look over that Nevada Athletic State Commission, which we all know is the the April Fools of the year time. They're shocking. I was like 50 hours community service. That's a lot of fucking hours. That's a lot.
The Nevada Athletic Commission they understand the game, man. They know they have the most well-known fighter in the game right now. They asked him to cut them a promo for anti-bullying. Like, they $150,000. Basically, for anybody listening who doesn't know, Conor McGregor threw a bottle at Nick Diaz, and they had to have a hearing, right? So the Attorney General, who is the one prosecuting Conor McGregor, was like, hey, guys, I think he should have, lessons, for how to behave at a press conference.
Yes.
We should sue him like $25,000 and community service for like, I don't know, I think 25 hours, something like that. Yeah. The Nevada Athletic Commission goes like, how about we sue him for 5% of his purse, which is $150,000, and he cuts us a promo and does 50 hours community service. So the one thing, I think Conor McGregor really doesn't care. I think, so Conor McGregor doesn't care, but the sport should care. Why? Because it sets a precedent. Like, Nevada Athletic Commission basically has free reign. There's nobody that can stop them. They basically, if they wanted to, they were going to go up to $300,000. They could have made him pay $300,000, and nobody would have done anything about it. So Conor McGregor just didn't want to be suspended. He wanted to make the 205 card. And I tweeted out, Conor McGregor got sued $150,000 and has to do 50 hours community service so that he can make over $15 million in 5 minutes. So it's definitely a bad situation for the sport, not necessarily for Conor McGregor. I mean, $150,000, you know, it's definitely a fine. It's like me getting a speeding ticket. It's shit, $200. It's definitely it definitely hurts, but it's not gonna, you know, ruin my month. So Nick Diaz, it's gonna be more interesting to see what Nick Diaz suspension is because Nick made a boatload of money, but he asked to be suspended instead of fined. Like on Twitter, he's asking for a suspension instead of getting fined. Why? Because he doesn't plan on fighting. He doesn't care. The Diaz brothers are notorious for suspensions and stepping away and retiring. And so, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that entire situation. I'm more interested, you know, with the Brock Lesnar and stuff like that stuff. Because
John Jones as well.
John Jones, John Jones, Brock Lesnar.
Like,
so.
I ain't going fucking near them. I ain't going near that.
With his history and everything, it's...
Yeah. Oh, dang. They are going to have a field day. They're just sitting there rubbing their hands till he walks in. Damn, I hate John Jones. Well, the thing for me is I think it's good that they've got New York now because guess what? The power that Vegas had with having the fight events there, they don't have it now. That kind of, you know, the hold events at Vegas, the big lights, it's gone because now you got Madison Square Garden. And guess what? Hold events. Because if you've got Conor McGregor and Joanna Jacek and who are title holders and Bisping, you get your British and European contingent of people over. It's a lot easier time-wise, time zones. New York's a far better fit anyway. And I think it's a good thing. I think, you know what, Nevada's going to take it. I know the UFC are based there, the UFC like headquarters there, but they're not owned by Zuffa now, who have all the ties in Vegas. They're owned by the whatever it is called.
Yeah.
That's the one. So there, and Tom Brady and all that, you know. So there's no kind of anchor for Vegas. There's no reason to have an anchor there now. So there's more. They've got more reason to go off to New York, which, you know, I'm all for. I'm all for that because the commission in Vegas is just shocking. They literally switched out the lights and went into a room full of morons, let's be polite, and he just picked out the first few, and then you'll all do. But yeah, like you said, the free range is shocking. I think Henry Cejudo, when he said he wouldn't do Vegas, and he did, but anyway, you know, okay, lad, how about you stick to what you want to say? But I think more guys should go. I think more fighters say, no, do you know what, I want to go somewhere else, you know, before even, because like Daniel Cormier, John Jones incident, I think Cormier only got fined like $9,000 for that fight in the middle of a hotel lobby and all that, and it's like, right, well, they actually fought and he only threw a can. You know, there's no balance at all. And look, let's go on. That aren't right in the world. One of them, let's say isn't right. Greg Hardy. People at home who are listening, former NFL player or American football, if you don't know what the NFL is. You know what, to be fair, he went to a Pro Bowl, so he must have done good in this season to get all the votes. Kudos to him. I've never been to a Pro Bowl, but the dude was he was an average good player. You know, he wasn't shockingly bad. He's looking to go into MMA. Now, by the way, he's like CM Punk, or Mickey Gall, whatever you want to call it. CM Punk, sorry. He's only just started training the sport. So I'm like, right, well, you're not going to go into UFC. But it's made big news, big waves, pretty quick.
Yeah. Not
because of his sport that he does. It's because of the background he has, the record he has of domestic violence and stuff. Now, I don't know why the MMA community are making a big deal out of it, because they really want to look at themselves before they look at him. Now, Anthony Johnson, Cody East, you had, was it George Roop, I think it was, well, had been since. Thiago Silva.
Ronda Rousey, Juliana Pena.
Travis Brown. You know, I'm like, you know, you just rattle off these names, and I'm like, hey, hang on a minute, they're still in the UFC, they're still superstars, people are having a go with them. You just sit there and you go, you're two-faced. It's a bit, you know, you can't do one side and then not the other. You've got to accept the fact that, look, the MMA game, we kind of don't care because we just want to see a good fight. That's all it is. Right. And like, so if that dude can scrap, there will be a gym somewhere that will take him in, and there will be a promotion somewhere that will see that and go, look at all the press he's getting. If we have him on our card, there'll be a shitload of press, and it doesn't matter if good press or bad press. That's press. That's eyes on you, and that's all they care about. So the bigger this is, the better it is really for you as a promoter taking him on.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to want to tune in. It's just the same thing with CM Punk. Like, everybody was so against CM Punk. It's the purists. They want to – and honestly, I'm not going to say I'm not a purist. I love the sport, and I'm a huge fan. But I'm not dumb. I know how the business is run. I know, what people want to see. So whenever you get a guy like CM Punk, no experience, 0-0, has never done actually any sport, never wrestled in college or anything like that, and people are complaining about it, and then fight night comes, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's tuned in because they want to see him either win, and they're going to say, oh, this is rigged, blah, 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 conspiracy theories, or lose as expected and just laugh at him, which is what basically happened. Now with Hardy, it's so weird because everybody, for some odd reason, assumes that he's going to be signing with the UFC. That's just automatic. Like, we shouldn't allow him in the UFC. And then whenever you tell them, like, well, most likely he's not going to be competing in the UFC right off the bat, they're like, well, he shouldn't be doing MMA at all. We shouldn't have this in our sport. Like we said, we just ran through a couple names, and those are some of the biggest stars that we have. Ronda Rousey's comeback is huge, and in her autobiography, she's telling people how she used to hit her ex-boyfriend. So she's getting a title shot. Juliana Pena going out there looking for fights and bars, actually getting arrested. Like, these are people who are on your roster, and you have fans, and they're women, but nobody really cares. It's Hardy, and obviously domestic abuse is never okay. But the dude wants to do MMA, let him do MMA. If anything, in anybody who trains, I can guarantee you, if you talk to anybody who trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, it will humble you. You get tapped out in 2 seconds. You are going to be so humbled, and it's the best thing for him, honestly. Like, if he wants to come and do MMA, he gets knocked out in his first fight. The dude is – did anybody ever watch Bully Beatdown? That's basically what this entire show was about with Mayhem Miller, who is another crazy fool.
Eddie Alvarez did Bully Beatdown as well.
Yeah, it's the whole concept of that is to take assholes and put them against somebody who can kick their ass, and then at the end of the fight, they apologize. Like,
yeah, they beat the crap out of the bullies. Yeah, and you know what? That's what I think as well. I said, because like when I started training, I was probably 220, maybe 220, 225 pounds, and I had dudes that were about 160 pounds, and they were tapping the shit out of me. I was getting choked, arms bent, like I was getting mauled by these little dwarfs as I saw them, and they were whipping my ass. These kids were like 17, and I was like, man. I was just lying there, I couldn't get my head around it. I was like, man, I am not as tough as I thought I was. I'm a bitch. Yeah. And you turn into a bitch. And that's kind of what he'll need, and he'll get it. Because it's not that the people in the gym will go there to purposely want to mess him up, but he'll get it just through training. It will happen. It's a natural thing. He'll go in there going, oh, yeah, I'm a linebacker. Yeah, well, we ain't doing American football now, so there ain't no helmet on you. There ain't no shoulder pads, and there ain't no – wait till the whistle blows and you sprint at me. You sprint at me. Good luck, son. I'm going to put you on your ass. And he'll get humbled. And I think it might, like you say, it'll be a good thing for him in the long run as a personally as well. It'll definitely give him a realization. But look, a lot of stuff getting rid of that. We mentioned 2 names though before then. You said Rousey and Juliana Pena. Well, 2 of them are having a bit of a mixture of fortune. So Ronda Rousey announcement, she's coming back. Now, dude, I am going to be honest. One of the last fights I would probably want to have coming back into the sport is against a girl, Amanda Nunes, who hits like a truck. Like, that fight with Miesha Tate, when she landed that one right straight, smashed up Miesha Tate's nose, and that was it. The fight was over then, and it was just Miesha Tate back it up until she eventually got caught off. Like, that's just a power that not many girls have. Holly Holm hits hard, but hits hard. And I'm thinking, Ronda Rousey got knocked the fuck out. When she comes back and gets cracked in the head, bang, straight away there's going to be something in her head that goes, nah, we didn't like this last time. We don't. And she's not exactly I would say she's not with the best striking coach in the world.
What are you talking about? He's great.
Well, he's great, yeah. And he's great. He's great. He's got great tactics. He speaks between the rounds as well. But you know, when you got your coach who's not got the best record of his club and the fighters he's got, I'm actually worried for Ronda in this one. I think this is not an easy one to get out of because Amanda Nunes is wrong as shit as well.
Yeah, this is and again, there's so many variables. I don't think anybody who doesn't understand the sport would really look at this and see it the way we do. Mm-hmm. But I mean, a casual fan is just thinking of Ronda Rousey coming back and destroying, you know, Amanda Nunes. Yeah. That's basically how it is. But there's so many variables. I mean, Ronda Rousey is one of those types of people like Johnny Hendricks who off season just go out of shape. They literally bloats up. Does not look good. And then, you know, she's doing all these movies. She's not training. She just started training. You know, she's going to get into shape. I mean, a lot of that takes into, you know, you have to take that into account. Amanda Nunes is a monster. You know, she doesn't want to let go of the belt. She, like you said, she has amazing power, strong athlete. For a girl, it's, you know, that type of fighting style is rare. I thought that, you know, when Ronda fought Kat Zingano, it was going to be similar. You know, Kat Zingano has sort of that style, strong, but she messed up and got submitted quick. And Holly Holm, it's just her body type is, I think what won her the fight is just she's very long, very tall. When Ronda Rousey clinched her and she was going to go for a takedown, and, you know, Holly Holm basically was just able to basically use her leverage and her, you know, the center of gravity to just avoid it and end up on top, you know, get up from being taken down. I believe she got taken down once, but she ended up getting right back up and then just outboxing and outclassing her on the feet. But with Amanda Nunes, it's just, I feel, just with John Jones, like the same thing with John Jones, if he comes in, obviously we know now that Rumble is going to be fighting DC, but if John Jones had come back and fought Rumble, I think it's the same thing. I mean, John Jones can't get a break. He has all these personal issues, you know, all these fines, suspensions, and, you know, he bulked up and got super strong and super big, and then he gasses in the fight, and then he's going to change his training style again, and Rumble is just a monster. You don't want to mess with him. You don't want to go in there testing something. Oh, let me see if this works now. So the perfect storm, what I like to call it, I think this is great for Amanda Nunes, a great opportunity. I mean, the betting odds are basically saying the same thing. I mean, Amanda Nunes is barely an underdog. Ronda Rousey is, I believe, on one of the websites, it's below -200 or -190. It's a very close fight, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know which Ronda Rousey we're going to get. Obviously, she's hungry, but
yeah, I think that's right. I'm like, her footwork's never been great. She has a very good system. Get in, close the gap, get you down, win the fight. Good. Happy days. Okay, that's fine. She showed a couple of moments where she had striking, where she won with the striking. She wasn't fighting girls who were top strikers, though, because when that came about, i.e. the Holly Holm fight, it showed that it doesn't matter what striking Ronda had, it wasn't good enough. Again, you know, I tell you what, it's a great video to watch is the Ferrata Harvey breakdown of the Holly Holm and Ronda fight, how it shows what Ronda was doing to, Holly was doing to break that gap between the two of them, so Ronda couldn't get her hips in. It was beautiful. Yep. And I'm like, you know what? You just do that every time against Ronda, and you're going to not like, she won't get you down. As long as she can't get those hips in, she can't get those hips low enough, she ain't going to be able to do no sort of Gary or oh my gosh, my Japanese is shocking when it comes to judo. Does my head in. I call it an itchy Gary, but it's an Osota Gary. Osota Gary, I think it is. Yeah, there you go. So, you know, there's a handful of trips and movements that you do. It's really hard if you can't do it. You can't get your hips in. And Holly just did it. And I think Amanda's got ATT behind it. Those guys know what to do. They know how to research fights. They know how to break down stuff. They're smart cats. You know, I can't. And she trains with some top talent in ATT. Great facility. Who's Ronda training with? Yeah. You want to tell me the four horsewomen who couldn't win? Behind it?
Yeah, I think actually you mentioned that. That's interesting. I was just thinking, I remember seeing that Joanna just joined ATT also. So
yes, she did. Yeah, new management.
Yeah, she's training with with them. That's super interesting. I totally did not remember that until now. So that's, again, like you said, training partners is a huge thing. But and then with Ronda Rousey, we always see that. We always see somebody with one style and goes out there and dominates. Once that style is broken and somebody beats them, they can be broken. Like Lyoto Machida, when we entered the Machida era that lasted two minutes, everybody thought that he was going to be champion for a very long time. And then we saw him fight Shogun, and that style was broken. You know, it was over. So
Yeah.
after that, it was just pretty simple. We knew how to beat Lyoto Machida. You know, it wasn't him just destroying everybody and coming in and out and doing all his moves and stuff like that. So, you know, Ronda Rousey's style is basically take it to the ground or you lose. I know she got that knockout over Betch, but honestly, like everybody gets, you know, everybody has their night. So that fight, I'm really not too focused on it because the more that we've seen in the Holly fight is basically what I'm going off of. So it's a very interesting fight.
And like I said, mate, there's DC and Anthony Johnson, which is badass. Love that fight. You know, Anthony Johnson, they've got, do you know what? I keep forgetting the name of the wrestling coach you've got, down at Black Stones that they got in there recently. Big, badass white dude, like just hench as fuck, but he's a legit top wrestling coach. He's been helping Anthony a bit. I know he's not going to get Olympic level, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to go quite the same way this time, maybe. I think, you know, it might be, I'm not saying he can't beat Daniel Cormier, but I think if he's a lot more patient, he could probably catch Daniel Cormier. And Daniel Cormier, you know, for Daniel, though, he's not fighting often enough, in my opinion, and he's getting older. You know, he's making those weight cuts. It's not like for Daniel Cormier, he needs to be 5 years younger. He's not getting younger, so I wonder how much that's going to catch up with him as well. The age factor, you know, training with the dudes like they go hard at AKA. You know, how many guys have pulled out because of injuries to beat the shit out of each other. I don't know. I love that fight.
That fight I think is super interesting because before I would have said, you know, I think he's going to do the exact same thing. I think he's going to grind it out. And Rumble, you know, he's going to try and get the knockout. Obviously, that's exactly what's going to happen. But one thing that I noticed was in a 3-round fight against a late replacement, Anderson Silva, in the 3rd round, Daniel Cormier was running away from Anderson. He got hit, rocked. It looked like he got rocked, and he's avoiding him. And so it's weird that Daniel Cormier in the biggest fight of his life against John Jones, he does that poorly against Anderson Silva. You know, I mean, they were getting boos and all of that because obviously Daniel's just going to ride him. But if you're getting hurt by Anderson Silva, you know, Rumble is going to put you out if that's what it is. If Rumble sees that and he says, "Oh, body kicks. Let me try that." I don't want to get punched. I don't want to get touched. I definitely don't want to get kicked by Rumble. So it's gonna be an interesting fight, man. I think, like I said, perfect storm situation. Rumble could be new champ, and that makes things very interesting. I would love to see him fight John Jones. That's a fight that I've always wanted to see. John Jones versus Rumble. John Jones has a great chin, but you got to test it against Rumble.
It's like question, isn't it? It's like, can Rumble land? Can he land that shot? That's what everyone's done. That's the one fight that everyone wants, but the thing is, everyone's sitting there going, I don't know if we'll ever see it because John Jones can't hold his shit together. I think we should have an unofficial one in a gym somewhere just so we can get to fucking see it. Put it on Periscope or something, please. I don't care if they're both of them out of shape. I've just put some gloves on. I don't care if they have gloves on or not. Just get it on. Let's see it. I just got to see that fight happen, man. But that fight's got some variables in. I'm glad, though. I'll tell you what, on a personal level, I'm glad GSP ain't coming back. That fight, those talks about the rumor of GSP and Anderson Silva that started going around, which was a lot of cobblers. I knew it was going to happen, but it's, you know, I don't see the point. I know GSP, he has that itch. Look, I've had a little break from fights. I get that itch. I want to come back like that right away. I want to fight. You can't get rid of that itch once you start.
Right.
It's kind of like sack. You know, when you take heroin, when you get one, you just want to keep going. That's kind of like this with fights. I want to keep going. And that's what GSP will have. Went out on top. You want to come back and fight. Dude, there's nothing more you can do. There's nothing more. Just stop. Just stay as you are, retired, who you are. The champ, retired champ. That's the best way you can go. The best way. But dudes keep messing it up and coming back. And I really can't. I don't want to see GSP back. Just don't want to see it.
I completely agree with you. And just to bring it back to my rankings, because it's a project that I'm really working on. George St. Pierre right now is ranked at all time. He is ranked the highest. He has the highest ELO ranking out there. His resume is the most impressive. Now, people are going to say, you know, Fedor is the pound for pound. Well, I mean, you can make that argument. However, Fedor keeps fighting, and he has lost. If he had retired at top, then yes, Fedor
Yeah.
would have had an argument to make the pound for pound list as number one. But GSP deciding to come back, if he does, I don't know. We've been having this discussion for the past 3 years, 4 years. I don't even know how long it's been. But GSP is at the top right now, mathematically and common sense. You know, he left on top, go. There's nothing else for you to do. Like you said, the division right now is super interesting. I mean, with GSP coming back, I don't really know what is he going to do? He's going to lose either to somebody like Stephen Thompson, who he's trained with. I mean, you want to fight somebody that is, you know, one of the best strikers in the world right now, or, you know, go out there and become the champ. And I don't know what I don't know. What else can you do? You have the best career ever. So it's definitely nothing to prove, honestly. It's just, you know, they can't really step away from the sport. Like I said, in MMA, nothing's forever. Retirements aren't forever. So.
No. It's like Matt Hughes and Matt Serra. Two of them dudes still want to come back. And I keep joking around, hitting on Twitter to the two of them, like, why you fight each other, And they still want to come back. Do you know what it is? It's just that itch you want to keep scratching. Chuck Liddell talking about how he want to fight John Jones. I'm like, Chuck, sit your ass down, son. I'm like, man, I don't even comment again, Chuck. You've me hit too many times. That knockout by Franklin still affecting you.
Man, like I said, these are legends. That's what they should be. They should just see, like, you guys had your time, honestly. And it's I think on the Joe Rogan podcast they mentioned this, and it's super super true. As a hardcore fan, if you watch a fight today, just without any dates, any time, you can tell that fight was recent. This fight was old. Yeah. This fight was like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Why is this guy? What? He's not recovering guard. He's not going to half guard. Does he even know how to choke somebody? Like, look at him. So we do have fights like that still. There are still guys who don't know how to, you know, sink in a rear naked choke, how to fight, you know, for hand control and all that. But the sport is evolving. The sport changes. You know, you guys coming up and like for example, a great example, Damian Maia. Like Eddie Bravo keeps talking about his transition to back. Damian Maia right now is a surgeon. He literally will go in there. It doesn't matter who is his opponent. The dude will submit you. He will have your back. If he doesn't submit you, he's going to have your back, and you are not going to be able to stop it. Like, it's beautiful. So when you have stuff like that, fighters are going to have to learn that. And if you haven't been in the game, you're already behind. Like, these guys are already evolving. You know, for a while there, Rosamir Pajares and that leg lock, man, nobody could stop it in the UFC. Man, nobody. And then Belcher out of nowhere. He's just like, go ahead, here's my leg. I've been training for like forever. Why? Because he needs to evolve, and he's evolving, and he survived and finished him. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see the sport evolve and see how it changes, because, you know, these older guys coming back, it's a very bad idea. I mean, you have to literally just keep at it. So we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully GSP doesn't come back, but you never know.
Fingers crossed. I hope so too. Look, man, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got stuff planned. It's been a fucking joy speaking to you, dude. Honestly, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'll push your stuff out on Twitter. It's been great talk. I'm gonna have to get your ass back on here again, man. Talk some more stuff, man. There's not enough time. That's the thing. When I get talking and flowing with people, I love MMA. You can go for days, you know, because when you got someone who talks about it and loves it, it's just one of them things, man. Two people just bounce off each other, and that's what happens. It's a beautiful thing.
Dude, we could talk about judging just for an entire day, and that would be like that would be a topic. It's just, that's how it is. I mean, I've been on flights where I'm talking to an MMA fan who I just met, and we're talking for the entire flight. It's just, so yeah, definitely. I'll definitely back. I enjoyed being on here. I think we rambled on there for a little bit, but that's just because all of these topics are so interesting. And if you're a hardcore fan, you know exactly what we mean. So.
Yeah, exactly. Look, people, get on to Izi's website, get on to his Twitter account. I will put the link in the bottom of the description on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, whatever, all that jazz. Just click on the links. You'll be able to get it there anyway for all those lazy people who can't bother typing it, copy and paste. That's what the world's coming to these days. People just want to click stuff. They don't want to do anything. But again, Izi, man, thanks very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, bro.
No problem, man. I enjoy it. I'll be back anytime you want me to.
Well, that's the recording.